Good Sunday morning to anybody that will be later watching this video. It is November the 23rd, 2025. I meant to do this video yesterday, November the 22nd. November 22nd should be a day that should be commemorated in this country as a polar opposite to the 4th of July. 4th of July, 1776. Declaration of Independence is the independent free republic. November 22nd, 1963. That was the end of the American Republic. It's a sad truth, not many people are willing to accept it, but that is a fact. Kennedy was very concerned about secret societies and secret services. He understood that they were a force in of themselves, operating independently, regardless of who the president or the political power was supposed to be. Basically, it was set up by two brothers, well, among others. D-U-L-L-E-S. Dulles. People pronounce those names Dulles. You can look into it. Kennedy was sabotaged in his presidency in an incident called the Bay of Pigs. It was where the CIA funded an expedition unknown to him, an invasion of Cuba. It landed men on the shore. What it needed was air support. So they went ahead and landed the men on the shore, and then went to Kennedy saying that we needed air support. He was the only one that could give them the air support. They were presenting him with a fait accompli. It was already a done deal. He could do nothing about it. But he decided that he would do something about it, which was to withhold the air support. That led to the people on the beaches, etc., in the Bay of Pigs, all getting killed. And many felt he betrayed the country. From that point on, he knew that his power wasn't real at all. It was almost as if somebody else was pulling the strings. That, among other things, led to his death. It was covered up with the assistance of the media, which is the focus of this talk. You must understand the media. The media in practically every country in the world that I know of is just an organ of state propaganda to present their side of the news. In Ireland, for example, we had RTE, Radio Television. It was to be the one and only media outlet, TV that is, and needless to say, it was not to inform, but it was to mold people's minds to what they wished them to think. We had a show on TV, Late Late Show. It was supposed to be, examining all the upcoming events, etc. But in actual fact, it was the other way around. It was to introduce these new concepts, such as gay marriage, homosexuality, abortion, you name it, all the way down, molding society as it went through the decades. And Gay Burden was exposing this, but he only exposed what suited them. When Archbishop Casey was in difficulty, he brought on his girlfriend. Annie Murphy was that lady's name. And needless to say, he treated her very, very badly. He was just a mouthpiece for the establishment, RTE. Same thing in England, BBC. In the United States, you have in National Public Broadcasting, NPC, in National Public Broadcasting. They're funded. But even the other stations and media outlets, they are actually controlled by the government as well. Because even though they're privately owned, they must hold a license from the FCC, Federal Communications Commission. If they step out of line, their license is quickly revoked. So they will do what their masters will tell them to do. And they too will set the thinking of the population. Today, in modern times, you have a term to describe this. It's called gaslighting. It's as if the people are hypnotized and they are told what to believe and they will believe it. Sports, of course, is obviously a part of this as well. Sports is built up to the situation now that people have their lives dominated by sports. We saw it very recently when some fellow scored a goal and the entire country of Ireland went completely berserk, as if it made one jot of difference to those donkeys in the least whether Ireland goes to the World Cup or not. It is absolutely meaningless. But they, of course, are so gaslit that they think their whole lives is dependent upon success or failure from a crowd of fools kicking a ball up and down the street. Sometimes some people rebel against this. For example, Trump. Think of him what you will, but the media paints him in a bad light because he's not of the establishment, or so we are led to believe at least. Some people think he is of the establishment, but that's a small enough section. But others, the majority, who support him, think he is the knight in shining armor. He may or may not be. So he has believed he's been treated unfairly in the media. He will have brought a court case against CNN, and he'll be awarded because he was right, and of course he proved his case. And some of these cases don't even go to trial because it's so obviously he's right that they will quickly come to a deal. And CNN, I believe, paid something like $15 million. They got off very lightly indeed, CNN. Others as well, he's been threatened with lawsuits, and they will quickly fold up because he has them over a barrel, because right is right, and they will distort. You can take any sort of statement out of context and it will appear as if it means something else, and that has been a factor in Trump's dominance of politics over the last 8 years. He's been painted badly by some. That's all propaganda. It's been going on for years, but now it's a little different because there's a person going against the accepted narrative. The most recent incident of this was BBC, where they really took a longer clip and they spliced it and diced it to make it appear as if Trump had said something that he had not said at all. So needless to say, Trump will decide to sue the BBC. Now that case was so absolutely certain to be a winner that the BBC were in a complete state of panic, and they did what very rarely happens, which is two of their head honchos resigned and admitted their guilt and just resigned. Now that very rarely happens because nobody will admit to anything anymore. They'll stick to their guns to the bitter end. But they resigned. But that wasn't enough for Trump. Trump now is going to bring them to the courts. And he, believe it or not, is looking for $4 billion. Now that's not million, that's $4 billion. We look forward to this case because it would appear as if he has already won the case, because they've already admitted defeat and they have resigned. And their culpability is proven by their acceptance and resignation. So that is a factor to take into account. In the old days in Ireland, the TV had a name ascribed to it. It was called the idiot box in the corner. Well, things have improved and got more fancy since then. Now it is the idiot flat screen above the mantelpiece. But people are staring at it. And when you stare at that TV, your mind goes into a little bit of a trance. You're not even thinking. You are just receiving. And that is why a TV program is called exactly that. It is a program. Because the concept is you will program the subject, which is the viewer, to think whatever you wish him to think. And he is actually programmed to think that way. And that is why a TV program is called a TV program. So, take everything with a grain of salt and believe until proven otherwise. Absolutely nothing you see on TV. Now that is my thought of the day as regards John F. Kennedy being killed and Donald Trump fighting these court cases and winning them because he is correct. Thank you for watching.